Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a legendary tale from Maratha history. It's an incredible story about friendship, a deep sense of duty, and a sacrifice so profound it would change an empire forever.
So, have you ever thought about that? How a massive victory can, at the same time, feel like a devastating personal defeat? Well, that paradox is really at the heart of the story we're about to tell, the story of the Battle for Kondhana Fort. Our story really kicks off not with a clash of swords, but with this feeling of deep, lingering loss. It all revolves around a fortress, Kondhana, a real strategic jewel that the great Maratha king, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, had been forced to give up to the Mughal Empire. And you really have to get this. This fort wasn't just some piece of land. Back in 17th century India, holding a fort like this was everything. It was a symbol of power. So, losing Kondhana in the Treaty of Purandar, well, it was like a dagger pointed right at the Maratha heartland. It was this constant, painful reminder for Shivaji, and especially for his mother, Jizabai. And to top it all off, it was guarded by a fierce warrior named Udaybhan Rathod, and was considered absolutely 100% unconquerable. So while the king and his mother are grieving over this lost fort, one of their most loyal generals is actually in the middle of a huge, happy family event. We're talking about Tanaji Malusare, who wasn't just a general, he was Shivaji's childhood friend. Yeah, he was completely wrapped up in the wedding preparations for his son, Ryoba. I mean, the invitations were out, the celebrations were kicking off, and right in the middle of all that joy, a message arrives from his king. And this just perfectly captures the impossible choice Tanaji was facing, right? On one side, you have the personal joy and duty as a father, and on the other, the call to serve his kingdom, his king, a call to take on a mission that everyone else thought was impossible. When Tanaji heard how much Jijabai yearned to see the Maratha flag flying over Kondhana again, he didn't even hesitate. He put all of his personal plans on hold and made a vow that has become legendary, famously declaring he would see to the wedding of Kondhana first, then his own sons. Okay, and this is where the story goes from incredible to downright unbelievable. Tanaji didn't just accept the mission, he chose the most insane, the most dangerous path to victory you could imagine. A plan so bold, most people would have called it a suicide mission. So let's just zoom in on that night. It's February 4th, 1670. It's a dark, moonless night, perfect for a stealth attack. Tanaji and a small, hand-picked group of his best men arrive at the foot of the fortress, completely silent, ready to go. And get this, he only brought 300 soldiers with him. Just 300. Let that sink in for a second. A tiny force going up against a huge, heavily armed garrison. This was never about brute force. It was all about surprise and pure, audacious courage. And the plan itself, it sounds like something out of a movie. They decided to scale the steepest part of the fort, the one cliff face the Mughals thought was totally unclimbable. So how'd they do it? Well, legend says they used a trained monitor lizard named Yashwanti. The lizard scaled the sheer rock with a rope tied to it, setting the anchor, and the first man to climb that rope, it was Tanaji himself. So once enough of his men made it to the top, the time for silence was over. With a massive battle cry of Har Har Mahadev, the stealth mission exploded into a full-blown, ferocious battle.
Tanaji didn't waste a single second. He charged right through the chaos, looking for one man. The fort's commander, the fearsome Udaybhan Rathod. The two leaders finally met, and they clashed in this brutal duel that would decide the fate of the entire fort.
Both of them were legendary warriors, and the fight was just savage. Then, at a crucial moment, Udaybhan lands a massive blow, and it completely shatters Tanaji's shield, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. But does he back down? No way! In an unbelievable act of bravery, Tanaji unwraps the sash from his turban, wraps it around his arm to use as a shield, and just keeps fighting, matching Udaybhan blow for blow. And his sheer determination pays off. Tanaji manages to strike down Udaybhan Rathod. He wins the duel. But in that final, desperate fight, he himself is mortally wounded. The Lion, as he was known, had fallen. Now you'd think seeing their leader fall would have shattered the Marathas' morale, but it did the exact opposite. It fueled them. Enraged and so inspired by his sacrifice, Tanaji's uncle, Shelar Mama, rallied the soldiers. They fought with this newfound fury, completely overwhelming the Mughal forces and taking the fortress.
A huge bonfire was lit. This was the signal for victory they had all agreed on. Miles away, Shivaji Maharaj saw the flames and was overjoyed. The saffron flag was flying high over Kondhana once more.
But when the king finally arrived at his conquered fort, the celebration just vanished. He wasn't greeted by his victorious friend, but by his friend's body. And in that moment of grief, Shivaji said the words that have defined this battle ever since. The fort is won, but the lion is gone.
And that, right there, is the legacy of this battle. To make sure that his best friend's sacrifice would live on forever, Shivaji Maharaj renamed the fort from Kondhana to Sinhagad, the Lion's Fort. And to this day, it stands as a monument to the incredible loyalty and courage of his lion, Tanaji Malusare.
So Tanaji's story really leaves us with this powerful question, doesn't it? What does true loyalty actually demand? His story is this timeless, incredible reminder of courage, of the struggle between personal happiness and public duty, and of the unbelievable price that sometimes has to be paid for freedom. It's a story of sacrifice that, centuries later, is still just as powerful.